You ever look back at your childhood and wonder if some memories weren't just dreams? The shadows in the corner of your room, the footsteps in the hallway when everyone was asleep, the way your toys sometimes weren't where you left them. We grow up telling ourselves it was all imagination, that kids just see the world differently. But what if the things you feared as a kid were real? Tonight I'm sharing 3 true stories that remind us how thin the line is between innocence and terror. Stories from people who swore they left those fears behind until something pulled them back. From a simple childhood game gone wrong, to a stranger who never stopped watching, to an imaginary friend who might not have been so imaginary after all. Because sometimes the monsters we outgrow don't outgrow us. I was 10 the first time I played the closet game. It wasn't supposed to be scary, just a dumb dare my cousins made up one summer night when the power went out. We were staying at my grandmother's old house, the kind that smelled like mothballs and had wooden floors that groaned like they were alive. The candles flickered in the living room, and someone said, "Let's play something creepy." That's how it started. The rules were simple. You stand in the dark closet, close the door, and hold a lit match. Then you whisper, "Show me the light or leave me in darkness." Supposedly, if you stay quiet long enough, you'll feel something. A presence right behind you. Everyone laughed, pretending not to be scared, but when they picked who'd go first, all eyes landed on me. "Come on," my cousin Sam grinned. "You're the brave one." I wanted to prove him right, so I stepped inside. The door creaked shut, and the world vanished. It was darker than I expected, thicker somehow, like the air itself was watching me. I struck the match. The flame trembled, barely lighting the hanging coats that swayed slightly, though there was no breeze. I whispered the words. My voice came out shaky. "Show me the light, or leave me in darkness." At first, nothing. Just silence and the soft crackle of the match. But then I heard it. A faint exhale, warm against my ear. My whole body froze. I thought it was one of them messing with me, maybe whispering through the crack of the door. "Guys," I called. No answer. The match flickered lower. The coats brushed my face, and I swear I felt a hand, cold, deliberate, rest on my shoulder. The flame died, plunging me into blackness. I screamed and threw myself against the door. It didn't budge for a second, like someone was holding it closed. Then it swung open and I stumbled out, gasping. They were all laughing. Sam was clutching his sides. "Man, you should have seen your face." I wanted to punch him, but something about their laughter didn't reach me. My heart was still racing, and the air around me felt wrong. Like I'd left something behind in that closet, or maybe brought something out. We didn't finish the game. Grandma came in a few minutes later, scolding us for making noise. I remember looking back at the closet door. It was slightly open, even though I swore I'd left it shut. A sliver of darkness stared back at me. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that matchlight, and behind it, the faint outline of something tall, hunched, waiting. I told myself it was just my imagination. Kids scare themselves all the time, right? Years passed, we all grew up, moved on. I forgot about that night. Or maybe I just convinced myself to until last year. I was tucking my son Caleb into bed. He's 6, curious, talkative, the kind of kid who turns everything into a game. As I switched off the light, he whispered, "Dad, the man in my closet says good night too." My stomach dropped. I tried to laugh it off, but he wasn't joking. His eyes were fixed on the closet door, cracked open just enough to show darkness beyond. The same kind of darkness I remembered. I opened it to prove there was nothing there, just toys, clothes, the usual. I smiled, told him there were no monsters. He seemed satisfied. But when I turned to leave, he said something that made me stop cold. He said he remembers you. I didn't look back. That night, I dreamed of that old house, of the smell of mothballs and burnt matches. I saw the closet again, door creaking open, and behind it, a figure stepping forward, whispering in a voice that felt like my own childhood fear coming home. Maybe we shouldn't have played that game. Maybe some doors stay closed for a reason. It's strange how the games we play as kids can open doors we never meant to. We laugh, we dare, we pretend, until the pretending feels too real. Maybe that's what makes childhood so terrifying in hindsight. We never really know when imagination ends and something else begins. But not every childhood fear hides behind a closet door. Sometimes it's waiting right outside your window. When I was 9, my family moved to a quiet neighborhood, the kind of place where nothing bad was supposed to happen. There were trimmed hedges, pastel mailboxes, and a little park at the end of our street. I used to spend hours there after school, swinging so high I could almost see over the trees. It felt safe, peaceful, like the world couldn't touch me there. That's where I first saw him. He was sitting on the far bench wearing a long brown coat even though it was summer. His posture was stiff, hands folded neatly on his knees. I thought he might be someone's grandpa waiting for their kid, but no one ever came. Every day after school he was there, same bench, same coat, eyes following me quietly as I swung back and forth. At first, I told myself he was harmless. Adults watched kids at parks all the time, right? Still, I started noticing little things. Once, when I left, I glanced back. He was still sitting there, facing the empty swings, even after I'd gone. Another day I waved, just to see what he'd do. He didn't wave back. He just tilted his head like he was trying to remember something. I stopped going for a while, but boredom and curiosity eventually pulled me back. One afternoon, I was building sandcastles under the slide when I saw something beside me, a small wooden toy soldier, old-fashioned, hand-painted, one arm chipped off. I looked around, but the park was empty. I brought it home, thinking maybe it was just lost. My mom smiled when I showed her. "How sweet," she said. Someone probably dropped it. The next day, there was another toy, this time a marble horse, sitting at the edge of the swing set, and then a small red ball, placed carefully by the slide. Each time, I'd find them waiting. Then one morning I found one on our porch. It was the same toy soldier, the one I'd left on my dresser the night before. My stomach twisted. I told my parents, but they brushed it off. "Probably a neighbor's prank," my dad said. "Don't worry about it." But I couldn't stop worrying. That night, I woke up to the faint creak of our front gate. The sound of footsteps on the gravel. I crept to the window. There he was, standing at the edge of our yard, staring up at my window, that brown coat hanging heavy in the dark. His face was pale, wrinkled, his eyes hollow but fixed on me like he'd been waiting for this moment. And then somehow I heard it. My name whispered, drawn out like a lullaby. It froze. I couldn't scream, couldn't move. My breath fogged the glass as I watched him lift a trembling hand and place something on the ground, the toy soldier again, before turning and walking away into the fog. The next morning it was gone. After that night I refused to sleep alone. My parents finally believed something was wrong when they found small footprints by the porch. Too small to be theirs, too heavy to be mine. The police came, but they didn't find anything. They said maybe I'd seen a homeless man, or maybe it was a dream. We moved out before the summer ended. Years passed, and I tried to forget. I told myself it was just a childhood nightmare, a trick of memory. But then a few years ago, I was scrolling through an online article about unsolved disappearances in the 1960s. There was a photo of a man, same brown coat, same sunken eyes, listed as missing since 1968. The caption said he vanished near a suburban park, not far from where we used to live. They never found his body. I stared at that image for what felt like forever, my heart pounding in my ears. I don't know what's worse, the idea that I'd imagined him all along, or that he never really left. Because sometimes, even after we move away, the things that watched us as children keep watching. Sometimes we think the monsters were strangers, shadows at the park, faces we didn't recognize. But what if they weren't strangers at all? What if they were closer than we ever imagined, hidden in the places and people we trusted most? The next story isn't just about fear, it's about memory, and what happens when the thing you thought was imaginary starts remembering you back. When I was little, I had an imaginary friend named Eli. My parents thought it was cute. I'd talk to him at dinner, save him a seat in the car, even whisper to him before bed. He's just creative. My mom would laugh. My dad would play along, pretending to say hi when I'd wave at thin air. But Eli wasn't like the imaginary friends other kids had. He didn't like to play games. He liked to talk. I remember his voice, soft, low, like someone whispering through a cracked door. He told me things, stories about places I'd never been, people I'd never met. Sometimes he'd hum while I fell asleep. And when I'd wake up, my toys would be moved into strange circles on the floor. One night I asked him what he looked like. He said, "You'll see me when you're ready." For a while it felt harmless, just my imagination filling the silence. Until the night the kitchen door opened on its own. My mom was asleep, my dad snoring in the next room. I was sitting in bed whispering to Eli when the door creaked open and something, a shadow maybe, slipped past the hallway light. I remember holding my breath. "Eli," I whispered. "Don't be scared," he said. "It's just me." The next morning, my mom asked if I'd been playing with her photo albums. Pictures were scattered across the kitchen table, old, yellowed, ones I'd never seen before. One showed a little boy sitting in a field, smiling at something out of frame. My mom frowned and said, "That's strange. I don't remember this picture." On the back, in a child's handwriting, was one word, Eli. I didn't tell her what that meant. A few weeks later, my sister was born. Stopped talking to Eli around then. My parents said I was outgrowing him. Guess I wanted to. Every night I still heard faint humming through the walls, but I tried to ignore it. Then one night, when my sister was about 3, I woke up to the sound of laughter coming from her room. Tiny giggles, followed by a low voice, too deep to be hers. I ran in, heart racing. She was sitting on the floor, drawing with crayons. "Who are you talking to?" I asked. "Eli," she said simply. "He missed you." I felt the air go still. On the paper, she'd drawn 2 stick figures holding hands. One small, one tall, standing under a crooked symbol that looked like an eye with a line through it. You're eyed. Drawn that same symbol when I was her age. My mom had even kept a few of those drawings, laughing at how abstract they were. But I knew it wasn't just a doodle. Eli had told me once, "It's where I'm from." After that night, things changed. My sister started talking to corners, laughing when no one was there. The humming came back, louder this time, and our cat refused to enter her room. Eventually, my parents brought in a priest, thinking it would calm her. It didn't. She stopped mentioning Eli soon after. But every so often, I'd find her drawings, always that same symbol. Time went on. We grew up, moved away. My sister forgot about it, or maybe just chose to. But I didn't. Last year, I started seeing a therapist. I'd been having trouble sleeping, the old dreams coming back. One day during a session, my therapist handed me a pencil and told me to draw whatever came to mind when I thought of safety. Without realizing it, my hand started sketching that same crooked symbol. The eye with the line. Shh. She leaned forward, confused. "Do you know what that is?" Shh. I shook my head. She turned her laptop toward me and pulled up a newspaper clipping from decades ago. A photo of a farmhouse not far from where I grew up. Underneath, the headline read, "Family disappears after child claims to see man named Eli. Symbol found carved into walls." It was the same symbol. I remember leaving her office and sitting in my car, staring at my reflection in the window. I kept thinking about that whisper, that voice that had followed me for years, fading but never gone. That night I couldn't sleep. I sat in the dark, the hum of the streetlight outside the only sound. Then I heard it, soft, familiar, close to my ear. Miss me. The air turned cold, just like it used to when I was a kid. I didn't move. I didn't answer. But I saw something in the reflection of the TV screen, a shape standing just behind me, tall, unmoving. And when I finally looked, the room was empty. The next morning, my sister called me out of nowhere. Her voice was shaking. "Had the strangest dream," she said. "Eli says hi. Sometimes I tell myself it's just trauma, old memories playing tricks. But sometimes, when the house is quiet and the lights flicker, I swear I can still hear that humming. And I know, some imaginary friends don't stay imaginary forever." It's strange, isn't it? How the things that terrified us as children never really disappear. We tell ourselves we've grown up, that monsters don't hide in closets or watch us from the dark. But deep down, some part of us still remembers. Oh. The creak of a door that shouldn't move. The whisper that sounds too close. The feeling that someone or something is just out of sight. Maybe that's what makes these stories so unsettling. They remind us that childhood isn't just innocence and wonder, it's also when the world first showed us its shadows. And maybe those shadows never left. Maybe they just learned to hide better. So the next time you pass your child's room and hear them talking to someone who isn't there, maybe don't be so quick to smile, because some imaginary friends never really leave. If you've ever experienced something from your childhood that still keeps you up at night, share it in the comments below. Your story might be next. And if you thought these were terrifying, wait until you hear what happened to the kids who played with the wrong toy.